Hello and welcome back to Questions from Quarantine. Our question this week comes from Twitter. My aunt just invited 10 plus people to Thanksgiving. Potential attendees have been eating at restaurants, hosting gatherings, and playing team sports throughout the pandemic. Is this safe or advisable? And if not, how do I explain to them that I can't attend? We'll go first to Juliette to talk about risk management, and then to Margaret to talk about what a balanced holiday season might actually look like. Juliette?
Let me think about this one for half a second. The answer is, of course, you're increasing your risk. Who are these 10 people? Who are the 10 people they had dinner with? Who are they playing with? Whatever. Any variables that are adding to the mix are going to increase the likelihood that something bad happens. This is what we're seeing at weddings. People say, oh, I had this small wedding, and then you know what? And then they know two people and they know two people. So look, my husband and kids are Jewish. We just went through the Jewish holidays, Zooming it, right? And normally we have a big event and everyone zoomed in. And that's what I'm recommending for Thanksgiving. Of course, if your parents are local or family members are local, so there's not a lot of travel and you can do a socially distanced meal or eat in a garage. I hear lots of people are moving stuff out of garages to create big tables or outside, depending on what part of the country you're in, and do something like that, of course. And I'm recommending that in your daily life. I'm having girlfriends over, is it Thursday? It's not Thursday yet. I want it to be Thursday. You know, tomorrow in the backyard. It will be colder in November, but I am, I am canceling most events where I cannot control the variable and there's no strong mitigation tendency. So one of my sons is doing soccer. That's great. But let me tell you, the school system is being tough, where I worry about an aunt who's sort of opening up her house and stuff like that. You tell them that, that there's no right or wrong answer. What you think that they should be doing this year, that you would love to zoom in if they can. But look, everyone has their own risk calculation. And we've talked about this before. Mine right now is still airplanes. I read the data. I know I can go on an airplane. I'm just not there yet. So there's no apology needed during a pandemic.
I did all that. I mean, you got to think like Julia Child always said, never apologize. And this is one of those moments. So, remember the sort of 3 C's. I like to refer to those that really came out of the Japanese public health community. They're like, please avoid closed spaces. So this is checking a closed space box if it's indoors, crowded places, so more than 10 people, I think it's a crowd, and close contact. And so what you're doing when you're eating, nobody's wearing a mask, you're eating, salivating, all sorts of, so, those are the 3 C's. Unfortunately, that Thanksgiving dinner is that way. So, but that also points a little bit to some steps you might be able to take if this is under your control, to design a holiday get together. So if you can have it outdoors, well ventilated, if you can keep folks, if they're eating to, really have a nice distance from one another, and keep it small. So those are the 3 things that I would aim for, and I would just call them up and tell them how, tell them that you're concerned. And when you do that, this is the trick I always do. I always think, what would it feel like to actually lead to somebody getting very sick from this? Yeah. And I think, that would be a horrible life event that would stay with you forever. So, you kind of keep that thought in your mind, and then you call and say, I'm really sorry, I just cannot participate this year, but I'd love to zoom in.
Thank you, Dr. Bourdeaux and Professor Kayyem. I know a lot of people are having these conversations right now. The holidays are coming up and we miss each other, but please stay safe, sanitary, put your boundaries up. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.